After Space Station Gaming. This is a squad that you've already rooted for this team. It's not a surprise. I wanted to do this video last because, one, it's not a surprise, and two, it's long-winded, or it's going to be. But ain't nobody releasing their team information, so I guess this is where we are at right now. Anyway, Space Station Gaming is a team that you've already rooted for. Last year, you rooted for them under the Luminosity Gaming banner. And there's a sort of reason why I was telling you not to get too attached to your teams. It sucks when you buy a jersey and then your player plays for a different team next year or next week. That's kind of the good thing about the way the league works, is that all the teams are going to be a little bit more structured, I think. I think you can depend on your players to stay on the same teams more often, I think. I think there's going to be a little bit less roster changes, I think. At least with this squad. Space Station Gaming looks really, really smooth. Andy got all his boys to come over to the squad. Let's say hello. Again, you've rooted for this team already. Jeff and Barra dual lane, Sex Tank, Baskin in the mid lane, Aquarius solo, Andy jungle. That's what I'm excited about. Annister in the jungle, my guy. Let's start at the bottom, the obvious point. Shout outs to Ghost for coming back. Very rarely. I mean, Ghost was playing on like a different team. I think you come here. Subs aren't guaranteed the money. There has to be a conversation to see if Ghost will get paid. I like that Ghost is here. I think it's cool. He comes to every land. He like reps the squad. I'm with it. I don't really care. He's a sub. Jeff Inlet and Barracuda. The duo lane. This Sex Tank. The crowd favorite, right? Everybody loves these guys, and for good reason. These guys are easy to love. Rosario is legitimately one of the best friends I've made in Smite. Just a personal side note, this guy is I try to separate myself from the players. I think that's important. Jeff doesn't get that luxury. Jeff is my boy, my homie, my brother, and I love that guy. So I wish him the best. But now let me be objective real quick. Jeff and Barracuda last year, I said, on Luminosity Gaming, that was the best chance that they had to win the World Championship since they won the World Championship. I think that Jeff and Barracuda these days are better than they have been in a long time. When Jeff and Barracuda won in the first Smite season, I think it spoke more to a relative level of talent rather than their individual level of talent or their brand of talent. And I go on to speak about how you can't win if you're going to follow the meta. You got to lead the meta. And basically, LG, Cloud9, COG, Jeff and Barra, the team that includes Jeff and Barra, have always followed the meta. And that worked in Season 1 when they were sort of the first team doing it, right? And they just played vanilla Smite. But they were the first team doing it, and so they won. And I think the competition level wasn't as high as it is now. Over the years since the first Smite season, I think that other people got better at a rate that exceeded that of Jeff and Barra. I think that Jeff and Barracuda continued to get better, sure, but there were other people to look at. I never once thought that they could win Season 2 or Season 3. I did not think that was a reality. They just weren't energy. They weren't that strong, right? We talk about EU dominating, but really it was just the crowd favorites from North America got shit on by these other teams. And we saw them get better gradually, but I don't think we ever really got to the point where they were the competitors that we were used to seeing until last year. I think last year when we saw Barracuda and Jeff team up with everybody else, that was the first time when I went, you know what? These guys can win. These guys have it. These guys are going to do it. And then we look towards right now, and I think that the squad has gotten even better. Jeff and Barra, one more time, can win the Smite World Championship this season as long as everything plays out the way it does on paper, right? In practice, on paper, two very different things. But right now, as long as the trend continues from Season 4 into Season 5, I think this is a very competitive team. Baskin. A couple of players shifted over the mid lane in Season 4. Matt Yankee failed. He was on the bottom of that. Anderson did the job. Had some good moments. Baskin clearly won. I think at the end of the season, it's harder to make that distinction between Andy and Baskin, but Baskin hit his stride a lot earlier, and thus Baskin won. It wasn't a competition. I don't really care. Baskin is the I won't say the GOAT, because that I use the GOAT casually. Is he the greatest of all time? I don't know. But Baskin is one of the best Smite players of all time. He is excellent in the middle lane. He looked excellent in the middle lane from almost day number 1. Baskin can be iffy to play with. Baskin does have attitude issues. But with this group of people, we've never seen that be an issue. And frankly, I think they can deal with this issue. I don't think it's an issue. I'm overstating things. Basically, I'm putting an asterisk, a warning label on this squad that I like everything about this team, but as a side note, Baskin can be troublesome to work with. That's all I'm saying. We haven't seen anything like that. We haven't seen any signs of this being a bad thing for SSG. Just keep it in the super back of your mind, right? Jeff and the Barracuda have stepped up to be one of the better duo lanes, I think, in Season 4 into Season 5. It's been a long time since we've seen that. Baskin, one of the best mid laners in the world. Anderson I'll get back to. Aquarius does his job. He reminds me sort of of a 6-man in basketball. Now, basketball is a 5-on-5 game. You have substitutions in the game. And your 6-man is the first sub in. And his job is to do one of two things. One, be consistent. You always want a player, your role player on your team to bring something predictable. I would much rather, if I have a superstar like Barracuda and Baskin and Andy, right? Those are your 3 hard carries. If I have my superstars, you know what I want out of everybody else? 3, 2, and 3. 4, 4, and 4. Just play average. Win, lose. Don't care what happens in your lane. Just don't get doo-dooed on. And once every 5 games, once every 10 games, do the doo-dooing. And that's what Aquarius brings. That's what he does. Aquarius comes through, and Aquarius goes, okay, I will do my job. And then occasionally picks up a late game triple kill and wins the game for his team. Exactly what you need out of this role. Nothing really to talk about it. I enjoyed what we've seen so far out of this guy. I like it. And Inster, Andrew Woodward, the man from New Jersey, a boy of little words but many talents. Side note, Woodward was a skateboarding camp in Pennsylvania that I really wanted to go to as a kid. Never was able to go. Besides the point. Anderson back in the jungle. Baby! Here's my deal about Anderson. Anderson, when he moved to the mid lane, people asked me about him moving to the mid lane. And my conversation was, I have no doubt that Andy will be able to play the mid lane as well as the jungle, right? I think you can stick Anderson. I think Anderson is like Baskin in that you can put this player, you can put Andy wherever the hell you want, and he'll figure it out eventually, if not immediately. Andy is that damn good at Smite. He is actually that damn good. Here's the thing, though. When it comes to mid lane versus jungle versus solo versus any of the other positions, jungle is the most decision oriented. Now in Season 4, that was brought back a little bit. The decision wasn't, oh, I got this little like tuft of hair, I look like a duck. The decision making wasn't numero uno for junglers. You kind of knew where the jungler was. You kind of could anticipate it. Mid lane buff, mid lane buff, mid lane buff, mid lane buff. You kind of always knew where the fucking jungler was, like, right? Not really the slink and surprise type gameplay that you have seen in the past, think back to season 1, and is indicative of a jungler. A jungler, in my eyes, is a demonic free safety. Sorry, I'm using all the sports terms. Free safety in football, American football, hand egg, hate that one, is everybody's got like a guy to cover, right? You know? It's like, you see them line up and they're all like, free safety is the guy. It's like, whoever is missing, I'll get, right? So he just like looks across the whole field. Oh shit, tackles that guy. That's what a jungler is in season 5 and way back when Andy started playing. The jungler is a guy that sort of gets his farm in the jungle, creeping around, and then, hey, I'm in your lane, die, right? And then transition to team fights, whatever. But season 5 is a return to the culture of gankitude. We are going to see more ganks. We are going to see more lane surprises. This is much less a world where you can say, well, it's 7 minutes and 37 seconds, so he's clearly here on the map. You can do that with buff timers. But outside of buff timers, your jungler is going to be all over, right? And so with that in mind, look at this little ducktail again. With that in mind, I think you got to be more aware of how important the decision-making will be. And Andy flourished on decision-making. If you go back and watch regular season games of when Andy first started, what makes him so good is his ability to identify this lane needs to be put down, this lane needs to be put ahead, this lane is just right. And he knows where and when to strike, where and when to attack, where and when to back off. That decision-making is his number one talent. And right next to that is mechanical skill and positioning and rotation ability and all that shit. But his number one talent is definitely decision making. He's a smart mamma jamma. And by putting him in the mid lane, you lose that. So season 4, which was much more about just like do, be the guy, hit your buttons. Homie FA did a great job at that. Coming into season 5, it's going to be more brain oriented. You're going to have a lot more brains involved with the Brawn. And Annenster is going to be back with a vengeance. Annenster's return to the jungle is perhaps one of the most noteworthy things of Season 5. And it's going to do great things for Space Station Gaming, and I guess their fans. Barracuda and Jeff Hinla, welcome back. You've been here for a season, Season 4. Season 5 could be the season you win it all. Baskin still rushing it and crushing it in the mid lane. Aquarius, exactly what this team needs. Nothing more, nothing less. And Annenster, the god of the jungle, back in his original position. Leave your comments below or toss them at the gate. I don't really know. Subscribe and all that stuff. Follow me on Twitter, f.ny. And on Twitch, fswag. And you're already on YouTube. So that's that. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. And much love to you. Boom, 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 F-time. Yeah, that's the outro. Peace.